What's up, guys? I am Goat the Great, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to just give my thoughts, my impressions, my initial impressions on the PlayStation 4 because I was fortunate enough to be given the opportunity to unbox it and play it on the night of launch, thanks to my good buddy Crouton of Doom. Right out of the gate, there isn't really much that I can say that I was disappointed with in terms of the console. I feel like Sony did a lot of things right this time around. I know that there are going to be a lot of people that disagree with that simply because they're just haters. They don't really play games for games. They play games for systems. And people are going to complain and bitch and moan about certain things, but personally I felt a lot of the concerns that I had about PlayStation were pretty much put to rest when I played it that night. So I'll speak on one of the first things that I know is going on out there, which is the failure rate. There are people that have had problems with their PlayStations bricking on update. There are people that had problems with their PlayStation's HDMI port. I've heard of people having an issue with the system being unstable in the terms of how it sits on your countertop or desktop or wherever you keep it. It seems like it's not flush against the table, so it's a little wobbly. Yeah, Sony actually put out a report, and it's less than 1% of their entire release of consoles that have issues, which is a pretty good failure rate because when you think about it, new technology is bound to have its issues. I can't think of anything that was new that I've purchased that was flawless out of the gate. When I got my first Windows mobile phone, it was problematic. The camera that I'm using right now to record this was a very problematic camera until it received a few firmware updates. It would overheat, it would freeze, it would do all kinds of weird things. And I paid $400 for this camera, which is the same exact price of the PlayStation 4. So you definitely expect there to be some kind of an issue when you're dealing with brand new technology. I personally didn't pick up the PlayStation because of, one, I wanted to have those issues get worked out, let the firmware updates and even hardware revisions come to the market, and I would come in and buy it when it's more of a stable system and I don't have to deal with the issues that everyone who beta tested it had to deal with. And also games. I feel like the launch of the PlayStation 4 became extremely poor when they lost games like Drive Club and what was that game with the dude? Watch Dogs. They lost a couple of games there that I personally would have loved to have played on release, and since those games aren't coming out at release, there's no point in me playing a release console with games I don't care for. But anyway, in terms of the hardware itself, physically, it's a well-built machine. It's extremely slim. The aesthetics of it's just beautiful. I would love to have that thing sitting anywhere in my home, whether it be on the countertop, desktop, it doesn't matter. I find it to be a beautiful console in terms of design. It's much more appealing than the current PlayStation 3, which looked really nice when it first came out, and then Sony just dialed back on a lot of its external features, which then made it somewhat of an ugly console in my opinion. But aesthetically very pleasing, very slim, very quiet. When you turn it on, you see the lights flashing. Well, actually they pulsate. You have a pulsating white light, a pulsating blue light. It flashes various colors, and I don't know what the various colors mean, but it flashes various colors, and it just looks like it fits in. It has its place in the home theater system setup. Another thing that I really find nice about it is it's, like I said, its size. It's slim, but it's also a very narrow console. It doesn't take up a lot of property on any desktop that you may put it on. So, and also no power brick. I really like that. No big power brick like my Xbox 360. No goofy Kinect having to find a place to sit anywhere. also really enjoyed that. Now, moving off of the actual console itself and moving on to the controller, that I didn't like too much. I really don't like the controller that much. Even though it is very closely designed to the PS1, 2, and 3's controller, it's weird. I don't like the way where the buttons are, the face buttons, the triangle, square, X, where those are. Instead of it having, it's really hard for me to describe this, but it slants downward, and I don't like that. I also don't like the big touchpad area that they put there. It seems ugly. It seems like it didn't belong, and I really don't understand why that's there yet. I mean, I guess I'll play games in the future that'll really give me an idea as to why that's there, but right now I'm not understanding why that's there. Also, the triggers. I can say I like the triggers, but I don't like the feel of the triggers. It feels like the plastic isn't as thick as it was on the PS3. It has more of a cheap feel to it, which I don't like cheap feeling plastic. We're paying $400 for this console. Give us some good plastic. It's plastic, for Christ's sake. So that I really didn't like too much. Also, the analog sticks. The PlayStation 3 had what I can only describe as thumb grips on the analog. They were it was kind of rough. It had a surface to it. And it made me feel like in using that controller, my fingers wouldn't slip off of it. I don't get that feeling with the PlayStation 4 controller. I get the feeling that with the PlayStation 4 controller, even though it is somewhat concave, it has a little bit of a concave design to it, it feels like my thumbs aren't going to really sit as flush and stay in place as it does on the PS3. Though the analogs also feel somewhat loose, for lack of a better term. They're a little too loose in my opinion, like they could use some tightening up. But I guess first-person shooter aficionados would love that. Those of us that enjoy other kinds of games and racing games, that might be a little problematic, but we will see as I actually start to play more and more games with it. Moving off of the hardware and into the actual software of the console, I feel like the software is very nice. It's very plain though. There's nothing about the software that's really appealing, and it's not eye candy. Let's put it like that. It's not aesthetically as pleasing as I would have expected it to be. It's very plain. It's very to the point. The icons and such are just white. There are no colors. I guess I got a little spoiled by Xbox Live dashboard, the Xbox dashboard, which I find the Xbox dashboard to be an issue, but it has some colors. It's nice to look at. That's not the case with the PlayStation 4's dashboard, if they're calling it the dashboard. It's very ugly, in my opinion. Well, not ugly, it's just plain. Definitely not ugly, just really plain. So they could have done a little something there, but I haven't gone through the entire dashboard or cross menu bar or whatever they're calling it this time around. So I can't really give too much of an impression on that. It's just very plain. It's fast. The console updates very fast. Once the update has been downloaded, it updates very fast. I wouldn't say as fast as my current 360, but still very fast. And I've seen cases in which people have swapped out their 500 gig SATA for a 500 gig SATA, but it's SSD and it flies. The thing moves like lightning quick. So that's something I may actually consider one day myself, considering that I can up the speed on the console by swapping to a new hard drive. I may consider that, because in the new generation, I definitely want speed. The old gen was about problems and being slow. The new gen is about speed, and I want that speed. So that's something I may consider doing. Moving on to the games themselves, on the other hand, I was blown away by virtually every title that I saw, with the exception of Need for Speed. Need for Speed it was Need for Speed, same cars, same races, same cops chasing you. There were some nice effects, like there were some beautiful weather effects, but nothing that really made it stand out from any other racer. I'm sure Forza 5 will simply obliterate Need for Speed in terms of the way it looks. Battlefield 4, my God. Never have I changed my opinion on a game that quickly just based on playing a different version of the game. Battlefield 4 on the PlayStation 4 is, in my opinion, a must-have FPS. And I'll tell you why. I like Battlefield. I like the way Battlefield plays. But Battlefield on PlayStation, it seemed like the exact same game from last year, Battlefield 3. On the PlayStation 4, on the other hand, they did some things differently. They actually have 64-man teams, which I'm assuming they have the same map size as they do on the PC. The graphics, oh my God, Jesus Christ, the graphics. Apparently it's running at 900p with 60 frames per second, and I couldn't tell you any difference between 900 and 1080. This game looks gorgeous. It is one of the best looking games I have seen so far. Of course, I haven't seen much, but it's one of the best looking I've seen so far. Crisp graphics, smooth controls, liquid smooth frame rate. The way things animate, it just the look of the game alone upped its enjoyment experience by about 10. I kid you not. I played that on PS3 at Sun Twisted's house, and it's shit. That's the best way I could put it. It's complete shit on PS3. On PS4, on the other hand, it definitely goes up a couple of notches. But Battlefield 4 has nothing on Killzone. Killzone literally looks like a PC game running on high settings. Again, personal opinion, there might be some PC enthusiasts and fanboys out there that will come and bash me and say that it looks nothing like a PC game running on high because they are the master race and their gaming equipment is much better. I don't care. I think that game looks fantastic. It does not run at 60 frames. Apparently it runs at 60 frames per second in the multiplayer because of all the effects that get turned off in the multiplayer, but still, in the single player, even at 30 frames per second, the game looks gorgeous. The textures, the lighting effects, the resolution, I'm just blown away by what that game looks like. Play, on the other hand, I can't speak for. I didn't really touch the game. And that's pretty much it. Knack is knack. And that's pretty much all that I can speak on, which is why, like I said, I did not purchase the PS4 on release, and I probably won't get it until Infamous Second Son and Watch Dogs and Drive Club and those games start to come out, because there's really nothing right now that warrants a purchase, in my opinion, other than, hey, I'm an early adopter, I got it before you, I got it early. There's really nothing enjoyable enough to warrant a purchase right now. So that's where things stand. Those are my first impressions. I'm very happy with the console. I'm very proud of what Sony has done in terms of the issues that they've fixed. And I just can't wait to see what they'll do with the future of it. And I'm also highly looking forward to the Xbox 720 or Xbox One. Xbox One, yeah. Xbox One. I'm looking forward to that as well. I want to see what Microsoft has done. I'm actually more excited for the games on Xbox One right now than I am for the games on the PS4. I feel like Microsoft really did justice to their console with the launch lineup, whereas Sony just fell flat there. They just wanted to get out of the gate first. But anyway, guys, if you have played the PS4, if you own the PS4, what are your impressions of it? What do you think? Do you disagree with what I've said? Do you agree? Let me know. This is Goat the Great. This has been Driving with Goat, my PS4 first impressions. And I'm out of here. Peace.